Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. Thank you for joining us on our Tuesday Business Booster Call on tonight being the 17th of June. Tonight, I've got Vincent Kusumo, our Gold Executive Director, joining me to help with this presentation because it's all about the language we use when talking to our prospects, really. There are several different generations of people or age groups, and we're going to go through those tonight, and just I guess some quirky things about each of them that is good to know when you actually start talking to someone of that age group. Of course, you're not going to, I guess, well, most people, I guess, you're not going to just go straight up and say, what age group are you in? So I know how to talk to you. But you can kind of get the rough idea of how old people are. I will be letting you know those age groups or age ranges as well for each group tonight. And then we'll finish the presentation and have a chat, really. Vincent and I are going to have a chat about good and bad words that we can use when talking to people of different generations. And then we'll open up to you guys and let us know what you think, okay? So to make a start, I'm going to share my screen. So tonight is all about speaking their language, how to connect with the generations. And why do we think that language is important? I'm kind of just throwing an open question there. I don't expect anyone to answer, but if you want, you can. But the question I want to raise is, would you pitch the same way to your grandma as you would to your best friend on Instagram? Generally speaking, the answer would be no, I would say. So let's have a look at a few statistics about the generations and who is actually, I guess, interested in a side hustle. All right, so we've got 55.4% of all side hustlers are millennials. So it's a big percentage of millennials. We've got 18.4% of side hustlers are baby boomers. So as much as we are an aging population, it's only 18% of the baby boomers that have a side hustle. Okay, so there is still plenty out there, of course. We've got 38% of Australians currently run a side hustle, and 55% are considering launching one in the next 5 years. So when you think about the population, which is currently over 27 million in Australia, and then we take out the 38% that are already have a side hustle, that leaves us with 16 mil, almost or close to 17 million people. And then 55% of that, you're looking around 9,270,000 people are all considering a side hustle in the next 5 years. So we're going to look at the different generations now. So Gen Z, which is your 18 to 26-year-olds, they're our passionate creators. So what they value is creativity, independence, and digital first. So they respond to mission-driven visual content. All right. So highlight content creation and digital entrepreneurship when speaking to them, and appeal to their creativity and digital fluency, I should say. So keep it visual, and if possible, mobile friendly, because they do everything on their mobile. All right. So a way that you can talk to them is want to know how I turned my passion into income. And then when we're looking at the percentage, the 51% of under 25s are considering a side hustle. This is the biggest age group. All right. So your Gen Zs are the biggest ones. Vincent, I believe you've had interactions, I guess, with a Gen Z of late. How did that go?
Not well.
Not well. Why not?
So I have the best example I can give, and the value that I want to put there in that word, right? You have creativity and you have independence. So the independence actually plays a huge factor. That independence on wanting to, start making a mark in their life, and that's where it came from. But we also need to acknowledge that attention span is very, very, very low. So the example that I give is actually my own younger sister. She's 20, 21 years old now, and then for Luminovation is one of the best product to introduce to her at that time. And she did show interest even with Luminovation. And when we heard interest, our mindset started, okay, you need to You need to learn everything about it. So we actually have like what we say quick 30 minutes, 40 minutes presentation, knowing about everything about luminovation, where it came from, why it's created, the ingredients, the benefits and everything. And by the end of that, she just came back to me like, I don't need to know any of this. I just want to know if it's working and if it's something that I can connect with independent of us, and if it's something that I can create something out of it, whether a side hustle, whether it will help my skin, anything at all. So that would be the independent side. Like they want to decide on it. The way that they said it, if even with using what she said to me, using an influencer as an example, right? It's something that's very common or prevalent in their generation. If they follow an influencer where it's someone that they're interested in, and usually they will not say anything about the brand, they will not show anything about the product. They need to connect first creatively, value wise, and from their independence, and they chose to be connected with this influencer. And then if they think that this product or whatever that they promote is something that they can connect, then they will ask, hey, what are you using, or what do you do? Show interest from there. And then after that, if they think, okay, this is something that we can do, then they will start doing it. So it's not about showing the 30, 40 minutes presentation. It's not asking them or showing them or using languages that for them it's too much sometimes, or too high level in a way. This is just one of my experience on sharing with people from Gen Z. They also want to be acknowledged that they have their own independence and the value that needs to connect with them, and of course creativity, if it's something that creatively or something that intriguing for them.
Awesome. So that's our Gen Zs. Moving on, we've got our millennials. So these are our purpose-driven hustlers, and it's the age range of 27 up to 43. So this is my group. Yay, I'm a millennial. Um, so millennials want to feel part of something bigger. So use real stories and emphasize freedom and authenticity. That's a big one. And show how Mannatech aligns with their values where you can. Okay. So they're looking for meaningful work, flexibility, authenticity. And some language that you can use is join a movement, not just a business. And then use social proof, which is basically your personal experiences. So tell your story when you're talking to a millennial, and they will grab onto that a lot more than just some random information about a product. Have you had any experience with that, Vincent?
Oh, I am one. I'm part of
Well,
millennials as well.
just because you are one doesn't mean you're not experienced. No.
Bella, Bella is one as well. But we do,
Yes.
because all our age group or people surrounding us is in within that age group.
Yep.
What I would say, flexibility and purpose driven is 100% things that's on top of our mind. Just as an example, Bella love and fell in love with Mannatech because of the purpose that's given to Mannatech M5M. This resonates with everyone. She has a mission on having helping kids around the world. And this
Mhm.
also the same thing. Flexibility as well for if you think about the age group, it's people they are most probably a young family or have a family, right? And on top of something that they need, they value flexibility really, really highly. They might have a full-time job and they looking for something else to further support their family. So
Mhm.
that would be one thing that I would say in utmost importance. One of the example that I can give is they're also looking for society or movement, which is what you an example that you give. So for example, if you met someone or if you run Lumi live event, for example, in your place, or you met with your friends and you started talking about Luminovation or starting to talk about Mannatech. Um, One thing that Bella and I typically use, if let's say someone are started to ask about what do you actually do? Why are you doing this? So I would usually refer back the question to them. Hey, does this look interesting to you? Can I interest you to doing this with some of your friends as well? And they can answer, but they can answer yes, they can answer no. If they answer, oh no, no, I just want to know more, then yeah, of course, like I would explain to them more, maybe from a product perspective, ask them about the bundle, about the Loom Innovation Bundle, or any products that you put, ask them their feedback, and then if this is interest them, then for the product, then I can ask what we call a magic question. I guess Andrew will come to that later. Um, but see how I'll try to create flexibility or purpose or movement there. Is this something interests you, and do you want, and if this is something of your interest, to do this together with your friends? So you still bring that over, or remove all the barriers, and try to put it into their put it into something that might interest them. If their answer is yes, then perfect. I was like, hey, no, that's great. And then let's set this up. It doesn't need to be 20 people. How many of your friends that you think that can benefit from this, or something that can benefit you as well? So how many of your friends that you think should know about this? And that's it, then start from there.
Perfect. So now we're moving on to Gen Zs, which is your 45s to 59-year-olds, and they're our security seekers. So the values are financial stability and practicality. Some language that you can use is earn extra without quitting your job, because they like that financial stability. And then 49% of the 35s to 44-year-olds are planning to run a side hustle or side business. So Gen Zs are pragmatic. So focus on supplemental income and time efficiency. And where possible, use real life examples. Okay, so when you're talking to them, always tell them your story. You'll notice that your story is a big thing. We've talked about it over the past couple of months. And yes, it's being repeated tonight. Always tell your story. Vincent, any experience with your Gen Zs?
Yeah, Gen X.
Oh, Gen X even, sorry.
Yes, of course we do have that as well. Some of my family members, or even part of our partners are, or our downlines are in fall under this category.
Mm,
The idea is still the same. What we want to do is to help them to remove as much barrier as possible. So just as a follow-up, using, when we invited our friends using, hey, is this something interesting that you want to do with your friends? Or if you create, let's say with the same premise, you created an event, someone from your partner created an event. When someone invited their friend, you try to remove as much barrier as possible. We can use languages, or an example like what we tried as well before is, hey, since you invited your friend, this have you heard about the referral? I know it's quite common right now. You should be a referral, because if this person that you invited really like our product, you might get subsidized for your own purchase. So subsidize here is the keyword, where it's still stability. They might like the product already. Usually people that invited their friend into an event, or an event that you run, they already started using the product, or they love the product that they use. What we want to do is, how do we bridge the barrier, like that financial stability, to have using the same product, or same um, products that they love, Luminovation, Ambrotos, whatever it is, and to prolong that, making it more lifetime orders. And one of the ways to do that is to use the word subsidy. And then, using referral, using subsidies, and this can subsidize your order. We're not using get an income, or get into something. No, it's just subsidize your own products. And then from
mm.
there, we'll work further as well. So I guess you
Awesome.
guys can see a theme here, which is reducing barrier as much as possible.
So that was your Gen X's. Now we're moving on to our baby boomers, which are the age group of 60 up to 78 years old. And they're our active achievers. So they value purpose, simplicity, and trust. So there's that word simplicity again. They stay active and boost retirement. So that's some language that you can use. And then it's 18.4% of side hustlers are currently boomers. All right. So boomers want to stay engaged, use respectful, clear language, and emphasize simplicity. And then highlight the wellness and community when you talk to them. It's that community that they crave above everything else, really, and simplicity. So crafting your message with intention is the next part. So their preferred language and messaging strategies. Personalize the message. All right. So why it works, personalized outreach increases engagement by up to 26%. Did we know that? Even just adding someone's name to a message makes a big difference. Okay. So, and how to apply this. So reference the person's goals or interests. So something like, I know you're passionate about wellness. This might be a great fit, or you've got a great network and energy. Have you ever thought about turning it into income? There's some openers for you. We want to speak to purpose and meaning. All right. And so why this works is millennials and Gen Zs are highly motivated by purpose-driven work. They want to feel that what they're doing matters. So emphasize how the business can make a positive impact on their lives, their communities, or their world. All right. So highlight personal growth, freedom, and flexibility as core benefits. You want to use conversational and non-corporate tone. So people are more responsive to authentic casual language than formal sales pitches. So avoid jargon like downline or compensation plan in the first instance, okay? Unless, of course, they want to come in as a business builder, but you generally find you'll be talking about the products as your first line of communication, all right? And what you could use is it's a flexible way to earn extra income doing something meaningful. So there's the word meaningful. And I'd love to show you what I'm working on. No pressure, just some information. All right. So we're keeping it light, simple. We don't want to, I guess, overburden them with the business jargon, as I said. But yeah, so the next part is highlight flexibility and financial potential. So why this works is over 55% of Australians under 35 are exploring side hustles for flexibility and extra income. You'll generally find that around the 35 mark is when people are starting, well, not everyone, but a lot of people are starting to purchase their first home. So then they've got mortgages and they find that, especially with the interest rates, that becomes a lot, their repayments. So they want a bit of extra money to help support the family, of course. So some relatable examples of, or what you could say is most people start part-time and earn a few hundred, but some grow it into much, much more. Or you could say something like, you can work from anywhere on your own schedule. There's that freedom and flexibility we were talking about earlier. You want to avoid over-promising or pressure. All right. So pushy or exaggerated claims can trigger skepticism and damage trust. So I can tell you firsthand, when I'm on Facebook and I see those people talking about, oh, I'm in the Bahamas and I'm working, still doing my day job or whatever it is, which they're talking about multi-level marketing. I kind of go, yeah, too good to be true. So if you over exaggerate things, I'm just going to assume that it's fake. Really? So we want to, again, tell your story and trying to make it as simple and I guess as everyday life that we can make it. So you want to be transparent, and some ways that you can communicate that is it's not a get rich quick thing. It takes effort, but the support is amazing. So we're being upfront and telling people straight away that this isn't easy, but you can do it with the support that we've got for you. All right. So our opportunity. So I'm going to leave you with some final figures, just so you're aware of, I guess, people's motivations and, well, there you go, motivated by rising costs. So we've got 55% of Australians are considering starting a small business. So that's a big number. We've got 38% plan to run a side hustle alongside their main job. And 68% are driven by the need to increase income due to rising costs of living, as I mentioned before. And then, of course, our rising costs of living has grown as you can see, 3.7% to 6.2% in the past year alone. And that means that 71% are cutting back on their fresh food intake, and 51% of those on income support are skipping meals. All right, so that I put those in there because you can now see that there is a need for our products, for people to get the nutrients and everything that they can get from it, really. We've got the younger generation leading the way. So 51% of under 25s are considering a side hustle. 49% of the 35 to 44-year-olds are also planning side businesses, often due to mortgage and family costs, as I mentioned before. And then we've got motivations beyond money. So when it's not about money, 56% seeking enjoyment, 48% want a work-life balance, and 37% are career control and creativity. So they want to be in control of what they do, when they do it, and how they do it. And that is it for the presentation. So, Vincent, can I get you, I want to talk about the good and bad words. So we've talked about, I guess, keeping it light, don't be too pushy or anything like that, but there are good and bad words out there that we should try and use the good and not use the bad. Don't get those mixed up, okay, people? So can you tell us some bad words that we really need to try and stay away from if we can?
Yeah, so thanks, Andrew. So if you're talking to, I guess, almost everyone nowadays, they're not excited anymore with very, very formal words. Things like, again, what we want to do is to remove the barriers as much as possible, right? So things like, hey, are you interested in business opportunity, very formal business opportunity, economical, or things like you can get compensation, like what Andrew said, commission even sometimes. The reason why it comes to this is maybe tiredness of the industry. This is the overused word or words that everyone keeps using. And they automatically associated these words to industry, and sometimes it might not necessarily come into a good result. You're basically a step back, one step behind before where you want to be just by using these words. What we want to do here is to remove the barrier, making sure it's as I wouldn't say easy, but it's your day-to-day or everyday words that might give them more interest and give you higher chances that they're willing to listen to you.
Or yeah, I don't know about their everyday words because I found it really hard to try and curve the way I said certain things. And look, to tell you, it's different, I guess, for us in corporate because we are a business. This is what we do. So we use a lot of the business terminology when it comes to downline or compensation plan or something like that. And I guess we should probably try and start changing the way we talk about things as well to help you guys out. And that way, when we do marketing and all that kind of stuff, it might make it a bit easier. But things like business and sign up and, as we said, compensation plan, they're the bad words. Hands up, how many people have started talking about Mannatech and you've heard the words pyramid scheme from the other person?
No.
Unfortunately, in this day and age, when pyramid schemes are not a thing, they do not exist anymore. They are illegal. So it's just weird that people still have that mindset when it comes to multi-level marketing businesses. And any of those business words that we use, it's the first thing people think about is, oh, this must be one of those pyramid schemes. I don't want to hear anymore. And as soon as they think that, it is very hard to bring them back from it. So what we're trying to get you guys to think about is using the softer terminology for things. So instead of sign up or join, we want to connect you to, another person that could tell you about the products or something like that. Connect is a great word to use instead of those things. Side hustle is a good word compared to business. So we're going away from business and looking at side hustles, or a little bit of extra me money. Me money is good. So money as the word is not a bad thing. But when you kind of start talking, I guess, income, I don't know, is income a bad word, Vincent? Income's not too bad, is it?
Right.
Everyone needs income.
Uh, income is not a bad word, but it's overused. I found it like
Yes.
if you say
Yeah.
if someone say, "Hey, do you want an extra income?" You can straight away associate it to something, right? But if
Yeah.
you're, yeah, this is a new thank you. It is it's extra me money.
Yes.
Completely different. It's something new, something fresh.
Yeah. And I guess when you say income, people think of their own day-to-day job, and that's my income and that's a certain amount. So I would assume that that's what you're talking about now with this being that same amount or same dollar figure. So I guess when someone thinks about our commissions or their payment as another income, I guess it's not really telling the truth, really. And that's what we mentioned before. You want to be upfront and honest about things. So a bit of me money is, you get that image in your head of, oh, it's just going to be a couple of extra, maybe dollars, $100, $200. It's not a huge amount, which I guess is being the honest part about things. We're being upfront and saying, to start off with, it'll only be a couple $100. But if you put in the work, you can make it bigger. So yes, so comp plan, downline, upline, all of those. Enroller, even enrollment or enroller, not the greatest of terminologies. There was a study done in the US. So all the figures that I've shown you tonight is all Australian. They're our statistics. What gave me the idea for tonight's conversation, though, was the DSA had a speaker back in one of their, I guess, quarterly meetings that we have. And this lady had come over from the US, and she is doing this huge study on the different generations and the words that they use. And she even said at that point that enroller or upline, those kind of things, not good words. And she had actually put out a study about what words people resonate more so to this day and age. And mentor is the one that they resonate with. So instead of having an upline, you're going to be introducing to their mentor or a guide. That's another fluffy word, a guide. But it's gives them the same concept of what an upline is, really, because you go to your upline to ask for information and to help with the three-way calls, however else you do or deal with your upline, instead of just saying upline or your enroller, you're talking about their guide or their mentor. All right. And people are more enthusiastic to become one of those themselves as opposed to a leader. Because the thought pattern of leader is that you're going to have 100 people that you need to tell what to do. And you'll find that the younger generation don't like telling people what to do. But when it becomes a mentor, they're quite happy to do that or be that as opposed to the leader side. Sorry, I just went a bit off topic then, but I thought I'd share what I'd learned. Vince, okay, Vince. So what? Oh, sorry, Vincent. I just called you Vince.
That's
Vincent,
fine.
doing the whole Australian thing of shortening your name. Uh, are there any other bad words that we should try and stay away from?
Uh, I think no, I think that's
We've kind of
on
covered
top
them
of
all.
my head. Typically,
Yep.
what we will say.
So, what are the good words that we can use?
Okay, cool. So I typically use like subsidize, thank you money, referral. Referral for us, I guess for my age, or for my group age, quite familiar. We all are quite familiar with what referral is. You refer someone and typically you get thank you money from the company. So that's typically what we use. Refer is a good word to really use. And usually the magic question, and Andrew, you can when someone show interest or use the product already or some you can usually ask, hey, are you the type of person that likes to refer if you find a good products or services? If the answer is yes, then fantastic. Like you can tell them like, hey, I just want to work the most economical way for you, or the way for you to get the most subsidy for or subsidized for your own purchase. So things like this that started the conversation, and they will say yes, no. Again, it really depends. If they say yes, then like start saying, hey, you saw me what I'm doing with my friends, or you saw me what is this something that can I
Interests you.
interest
Yeah.
you with doing this with some of your friends? And if people invite another people, again, the same thing, like, hey, if this someone order, you should be a referral. So that's also another way to turn from a customer to associate. Associate, that's another word that probably shouldn't use.
Yeah, let's try and stay away from that word, but
Yeah.
it's a bit hard when everything,
Yeah.
yeah, we talk about
Yeah.
associates and customers all the time, but but you
And
don't have to actually mention customer or associate either when you're doing the initial conversation. It can just be asking I know Sinead brought this back, or brought this up ages ago, asking that magic question of, are you someone that when you watch a good show on Netflix, you tell all your friends about it? Do you go on social media and post about it? If you're that person, I know how I can connect you to the business, or sorry, connect you to within the how do I finish that? It's because I'm saying business and company in my head.
you can
Yeah,
say things
no
like, hey,
words.
I just want to work out how, I just want to work out what would be
The best way to connect you.
the best way to work with you, or the best, maybe not work, but the best way
No.
that we can get you to subsidize for your own orders.
Yep. Something like that. Did you get that,
Or
people?
for you, the best way for the company to give you thank you money,
Yeah,
things like that. Because if you
yeah.
refer someone at the end of the day, if you refer someone, you do the company good, right? And then you can tell them like, look, they're also a company. They know how this works. They know that they got a sales from you, or they got an order from you. Then they want to give you thank you money as well. And this thank you money, it could be small, it could be big, but it's a way to subsidize your orders. It's a way to
Hmm.
subsidize your product. So for you to
Yep.
continue using the product that that you like, things like this, I think it's super useful.
Mm.
Or if you think it's too wordy, and I just saw Kaina's question as well, like what would I say when someone asks me what do I do? I can use two things most of the time with the younger generation. I use things that's very indirect. So, for example, I work in sales, but in my spare time, I also have a side hustle that focuses on wellness and K beauty products. Look, this might not be for you, um, but do you know anyone that might benefit from this, from the K beauty product? If I'm talking, uh, basically they would answer yes or no, right? But even if they say no, you know already that you don't waste your time anymore with them, right? Like you qualify out essentially. But if this is something, yes, that they can answer in two ways. Yes, oh yeah, I know someone that might be, or that is passionate about K beauty, that might want to do this. Or alternatively, it's like, hey, I want to know about wellness. I enjoy wellness. um yeah, that's a very indirect way to say so, rather than saying, I have this business, this, what do you think?
Mm.
Maybe that's another way that I typically use for indirect. But if it's with age group that that they're most likely looking for business opportunity, right? Like, then you tell them, hey, this is the business opportunity, this is the comp plan, this you can be straightforward with them.
Mm. Awesome. And as you saw with myself trying to explain this to you, like I said, I went back to using business and company because that's what I is. They're the words that I automatically use. So I know that changing the way that we talk or say things is really hard, and
Mhm.
it takes practice. Um, and you will, like, if you actually start doing this and saying, the lighter, fluffier words when talking to the younger generation. You'll find eventually what works best for you and how you approach certain things. But yes, I think we might. I think we've kind of answered everything. Kind of. Did you have another question? Actually, and I love the word tribe, kind of that you put in the thing. Tribe's actually a really good word, because everyone wants to be part of a community. So community and tribe are actually good words to use. I love that. And he changed this a little depending upon the age group. Oh yeah. So Vincent, how just to finish up, how do you communicate with a younger generation? As in, what is the first message that you would send someone?
With the younger generation,
Yeah, up to
with
our millennials. So that's
up
our
to
age. Yeah,
yeah, okay. So our range and someone. So we go with very, very indirect, very indirect. For some reason, they don't
Can I just put, when you say indirect, you're referring to like a really soft approach, as
very,
in
very soft
this
approach.
might not be for you,
Yeah,
but
this might not be for you, but do you know anyone that can be beneficial for? Do you know anyone that can benefit from this?
benefit. Yep.
Yeah. You know anyone
Yep. So
that
you're not even asking them, you're asking them for other referrals or other people.
yeah,
And then they kind of go, oh, actually, this is right up my street.
yeah,
I'm interested in this.
yeah. The
Awesome.
reason
Yep.
the reason why I wouldn't say it's a trick, but think about it this way, right? Like if you remember like what the slides earlier, they value independence, they value they want to show also like stability and then purpose. So
Mm.
if you're talking to millennial and then you're asking someone, hey, is someone beneficial for this touch their purpose, like they're helping someone. And then
Yep.
if you touching on the Gen Zs, you're giving them the choice, right? Like whether you know someone or not, someone that can benefit from this. Likewise, it you touch on the purpose for them, like they're helping someone, or you give them the choice of, oh, I might be interested in this, even the way that you ask the question is, do you know anyone that can benefit from here? I can benefit, or someone else can benefit. It gives them that independence choice thing that they can decide and tell you. That's the way that I typically use
Mhm.
these words.
Awesome. Um, and Bev, great question. Vincent, do you talk about loyalty points at all?
Yeah, so most of the time with loyalty points, it's when they started to show an interest about the product. And the way that we do it is, hey, look, I know you're gonna love the products. Why don't I create a subscription for you? The way the subscription work is it's gonna be a monthly order, but you can edit anytime. It will not be processed before we have a call and we communicate together with this. So put this as a yeah, similar as a frequent flyer points, exactly how it is. It's like subscribe everyone, not everyone, sorry, but people in my age and under, they understand if you subscribe to something, that means you commit to something, and when you commit to something, they expect a return. So that's why this return comes as a loyalty point. You can explain it to them a bit further. It's like, so you will get 20% on the fourth month. They also want to know that you are fully committed to this. But I'm quite sure that you'll enjoy the product. But again, just want to assure you, nothing will get charged before we have our conversation, and if need be, we can delay. It doesn't need to be fall exactly on the same date. There is flexibility to move it as long as within the following.
The month.
Yeah,
Yep.
so thing you always end the sentences with a question and a hit check, if you may. Things like, would this be something of your interest? How do you feel about that? And things like that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for the question, Bev.
Yeah,
Vincent?
one more thing. If you're um and if you're going with Gen Zs, especially with Gen Z, with three exclamation mark, having their social media is so much more important than their phone number. Believe it or not. They don't like to be called. They don't barely text anymore. but you can 100% see them in social media, either Facebook, Instagram, TikToks, you name it, like everything. Maybe there's a new one that I don't even know. Trust me,
Threads.
like they are more active there rather than anywhere else.
Mm,
And again, like the way that they Snapchat, that's it. Like the way that you connect with them is not through the product, it's through the story and authenticity, what you bring. That's an example that I can give again using my sister. She said like, hey, even though I follow this guy, this always shows like maybe illumination at the lotion at the back of the screen, but never explicitly say anything about this lotion. And if you're interested and you connected to this person through social media, they will ask, hey, what are you using? And then if this is something that interests them and this is something that they want to do, that they want they feel like this is something beneficial for them, they will make the purchase.
mm, yep. Yeah, that's something I know I've said to a couple of you that are even on tonight's call. As if you're on social media, try and get us on social media and posting every day if you can, but you don't want to make it 100% product. Actually, probably even you don't maybe 10 to 15% you can talk about product, and it's not even a direct talking about Mannatech. You're talking about how good you feel or how glowing your skin is, and you don't even have to mention Mannatech. If you have that connection with someone, or someone feels that they have a connection with you through the social media, they're going to then follow up and say, okay, you spoke about how good you're feeling. What are you taking, or what are you doing to feel so good? Because I want to feel so good. um so yeah, do you find that's a big thing, Vincent?
Yes, Bella especially. I think Bella can say a lot more on that, but both of us
Yep.
feels very, very, very very appreciative on the social media side on that. Like people will start asking, so what do you use? How do you find this? Where do you get this from? Like if they're
Yep.
interested, they will purchase.
Well, thank you very much for joining, and have a great night, guys. Bye.
Thanks everyone. Bye bye.
Thanks, Vincent. Bye.